Beloved chosen one, before we dive deeper, take a breath and open the ears of your spirit. This is not just a video. This is a divine appointment. You have not stumbled here by accident, for there is a message that heaven has carefully orchestrated for you to receive in this very moment. If you have ever found yourself feeling like a stranger among familiar faces, if you have ever carried a loneliness that even a crowded room could not cure, then you are right where you need to be. You are a rare soul, handpicked by the Most High, and your path, though glorious, is often paved with seasons of sacred isolation. Have you ever wondered why deep connections seem to slip through your fingers like water, no matter how pure your intentions? Have you questioned why relationships that begin with hope often end in silent distance? There is a reason beyond what the natural eye can see. Those marked by divine purpose walk a road that few can understand. Your soul is not wired for the ordinary, and because of this, ordinary relationships will never satisfy your spirit. The loneliness you feel is not a curse. It is a divine consecration. God has set you apart, not to punish you, but to preserve you for something and someone extraordinary. You see, beloved, when you are chosen, your heart beats to a different rhythm, a heavenly cadence that most cannot hear. It is not that you are too much. It is that you are too profound for the shallow waters where most people choose to swim. Relationships, for the chosen ones, are not just about companionship. They are about divine alignment, sacred partnerships destined to further the kingdom's cause on earth. This is why you cannot simply settle. This is why your spirit rejects what your flesh sometimes craves. Heaven is guarding your heart, even when your heart aches for what seems absent. There are forces at work beyond what you can perceive. Forces that protect you, prune you, and prepare you for a connection so rare, so divinely orchestrated, that only a soul equally refined by fire could ever walk beside you. In this sacred space of waiting, you are being strengthened. In this wilderness of seeming loneliness, you are being equipped. Every unanswered prayer, every tear cried in solitude, every goodbye that you didn't understand, God has seen it all, and none of it will be wasted. Today, we are going to uncover the hidden truths behind your path of isolation. We will journey through 8 profound and often painful realities that explain why so many chosen ones find themselves walking alone. But let me promise you this, what feels like rejection is often God's redirection. What seems like delay is God's divine preparation. You are not forgotten. You are being fashioned for a love that mirrors heaven itself. So stay with me, heart wide open, spirit ready to receive. Because by the end of this journey, you will no longer see your solitude as a wound, but as a crown. You will no longer see your waiting as a burden, but as a blessing. And you will understand why the path of the chosen is narrow, but gloriously anointed. If you feel the pull already in your soul, type 1111 in the comments as a prophetic act of agreement, declaring, I am chosen and I trust the process. Your journey is sacred. Your story is not over. It is only just beginning. Number 1. Their energy is too intense, the fire they carry. Chosen one, you must understand. You do not merely walk into a room. You enter carrying a fire that is unseen yet undeniable. Your spirit is not like the common flame that flickers weakly against the winds of life. No, you are a blazing torch, a living embodiment of divine light that causes the very atmosphere to shift. People may not understand why their hearts race in your presence, why conversations falter when you draw near, or why they feel an inexplicable stirring deep within their souls. But the reason is simple. You carry the residue of heaven itself. The energy within you is not man-made. It is forged in the secret chambers of prayer, in the silent wars of your spirit, in the midnight hours where you wrestled not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Your aura radiates with the imprint of countless battles won in the unseen realm. And because of this, your very presence can be both magnetic and intimidating. Matthew 5 verse 14 declares, You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. You were never meant to blend in. You were never designed to dim your brilliance for the comfort of others. Yet the harsh truth remains. Many cannot handle the intensity you bring. Some will be drawn to your flame, seeking its warmth and wisdom. Others, unsettled by their own darkness exposed by your light, will retreat without explanation. Pause for a moment and reflect. How many times have you watched someone's demeanor change the moment you entered the space? How many times have connections that seemed promising suddenly cooled, as if an invisible wall had risen between you and them? It was not your fault. It was your fire. Relationships, as you have learned, require balance. They require the gentle dance of give and take, the sacred exchange of energies. But for the chosen ones, the imbalance often feels inevitable. Your fire is so pure, so consuming, that it leaves no room for pretense or half-heartedness. Those who are not prepared to be refined by that fire will instinctively distance themselves, not out of malice, but out of spiritual unreadiness. Imagine for a moment a moth and a flame. The moth is irresistibly drawn to the flame, mesmerized by its beauty, yet terrified by its heat. Such is the dynamic you often encounter. People are captivated by your authenticity, your depth, your purpose, but when faced with the reality that standing close to you demands transformation, they falter. They realize that proximity to you requires shedding layers of falseness they are not yet willing to part with. Can leave you feeling misunderstood, wondering why love seems so fleeting, why friendships and relationships that begin with such promise end with silent goodbyes. But I tell you today, it is not because you are unworthy of love. It is because you are too full of the divine to be easily embraced by those still clinging to the shallow things of this world. Your fire is a gift, chosen one, not a flaw. Your intensity is not something to suppress, but something to honor. For those who are truly meant for you will not be burned by your flame. They will be refined by it. They will not fear your depth. They will dive into it with you. They will not retreat. They will rise to meet you at the level where your souls are both set ablaze for a higher calling. And so I ask you, even now, to reflect. How many times have you dimmed your light to make others feel comfortable? How many times have you shrunk back, believing your fire was too much? Today, let that lie be broken. You were never called to be a flicker in the dark. You were called to be a blazing city on a hill. Those who are not afraid of the fire will find you. Until then, burn on, chosen one. Burn on. Number 2. They see through people's masks, eyes that pierce the spirit. Chosen one, there is something different about the way you see. Your vision is not limited to what is placed before you in smiles and polished words. No, your eyes are anointed to see beyond the veil, beyond the layers of pretense that most people carefully construct. You have been gifted with a sight that pierces the soul itself, a holy discernment that makes many uneasy without ever uttering a word. Hebrews 4 verse 13 declares, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account." In the same way, beloved, your eyes mirror the gaze of heaven. You carry within you a reflection of the all-seeing eye of God, and because of this, deception cannot find safe harbor in your presence. The moment someone crosses your path, the masks they wear, crafted from fear, pride, insecurity, or ambition, begin to crack and crumble. There is a heaviness that comes with this gift, isn't there? You long to believe the best in others, to embrace them as they present themselves, yet you cannot deny what your spirit perceives. You feel the dissonance between their words and their true intentions. You recognize when love is laced with manipulation, when friendship is shadowed by envy, when affection is tinged with hidden agendas. While others remain charmed by the performance, you stand silently, heart heavy, knowing the truth hidden beneath the surface. Pause here, chosen one, and reflect. How many times have you felt alone even among friends because you saw what others could not? How many times have you grieved silently, not because of what was said, but because of what was concealed? Your ability to see through masks has protected you more times than you realize. It has saved you from partnerships that would have derailed your destiny, from alliances that would have poisoned your spirit. But this gift also comes at a cost. Many cannot bear to be seen so completely. They are comfortable living behind the masks they have built to survive in a world that rewards appearances over authenticity. When they encounter you, when they sense that you see not only their smiles but their scars, not only their strengths but their secrets. They grow fearful, not of you but of the vulnerability your presence demands. And so they withdraw. They vanish without explanation. They retreat into safer shadows where their illusions can remain intact. You are not meant to take this personally, beloved. It is not rejection. It is revelation. God is revealing to you who is willing to walk in the light and who still clings to darkness. Your calling requires relationships built on truth, not on deception. Your destiny demands companions who can stand unmasked before you, who are not afraid of being fully known. Think of Jesus at the Last Supper, when he looked at Judas and already knew the betrayal hidden behind the facade of loyalty. He did not lash out. He simply acknowledged the truth. And so it must be with you. Your discernment is not a weapon to harm others, but a shield to protect your own anointing. Chosen one, you were never meant to lower your gaze or dull your discernment just to make others feel comfortable. The world needs your clear vision. The kingdom needs your fearless perception. There will come a day, and soon, when someone will not shrink away under the weight of your gaze but will meet it with eyes just as clear, just as pure, just as ready for real, raw, unconditional love. Until that day, trust your spirit. Honor what you see, even when it hurts. Celebrate the gift of your sight, for it was given to you by God Himself, not to isolate you but to elevate you. And so I ask you now, how many masks have you already uncovered without speaking a word? How often have you silenced your spirit just to fit into relationships not meant for you? Today, beloved, I challenge you, no longer apologize for the eyes God has given you. For it is written, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Matthew 5 verse 8. And those with God's sight can never settle for man's illusions. Number 3, their purpose comes first, the weight of the calling. Beloved, hear this truth deep within your spirit. Your life is not your own. You were not placed on this earth merely to chase fleeting pleasures or to fit into society's expectations of love, marriage, and companionship. You were set apart, sanctified by a divine hand, and woven with a sacred purpose so powerful that all of heaven watches over your every step. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, God ordained you for a destiny that would not simply influence the earth but would echo into eternity. 2 Timothy 1 verse 9 reminds us, He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not because of anything we have done but because of His own purpose and grace. Your existence is a divine assignment, not a casual occurrence. And because of this holy calling, your purpose must always take precedence over personal desires, even the noble desire for companionship. It is not that you do not long for love. O chosen one, your heart is more capable of love than most could ever fathom. Your spirit was designed to love deeply, to connect soul to soul, to mirror the very heartbeat of God Himself. But your spirit also knows an ancient truth. No relationship, no matter how beautiful, can take precedence over the mission you were born to fulfill. There is a weight to your calling, a sacred burden you carry quietly, often alone. Pulls you forward when others are content to stay still. It awakens you at midnight with visions and burdens that few can comprehend. It demands sacrifices that the world cannot understand. Picture a knight, clad in radiant armor, called into a battle that others pretend does not exist. He may long for home, for comfort, for the tender hand of a companion, but he knows that to lay down his sword for the sake of personal pleasure would be to abandon the very people he was sent to protect. So it is with you. You are called to wage war in the unseen realms, to bring light where darkness has claimed dominion, to build where others have torn down. And because of this, your priorities will always seem strange to those who live only for themselves. They will not understand why you refuse to chase after shallow relationships, why you cannot stay in connections that dim your flame, why you seem to choose solitude over companionship time and time again. But you are not choosing loneliness. You are choosing loyalty to your divine assignment. Pause now and ask yourself, how many times have you felt the tension between the call of your heart and the call of your destiny? How many times have you been tempted to lay down your purpose for the comfort of temporary affection? Beloved, let me remind you, your obedience is writing a story that heaven itself is recording. Every time you choose your purpose over your pain, Every time you walk away from what is good but not God-ordained, you are securing a crown that no earthly relationship could ever offer. The enemy will try to whisper lies into your ear. You're missing out. You're too focused. You'll end up alone. But remember this: what you are building with your obedience will outlast every fleeting romance, every temporary distraction. You are laying foundations for generations to come. You are birthing a legacy of light that will shine long after your earthly days are done. And here is the beautiful irony. When you place your purpose above your personal desires, when you seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, all the other things, yes, even the love your heart craves, will be added unto you in due season. Matthew 6 verse 33. Therefore, do not fear the solitude. Do not resent the seasons of separation. They are not signs of lack. They are signs of alignment. The right partner, someone equally yoked, equally called, equally surrendered, will not be threatened by your purpose. They will be drawn to it. They will not compete with your destiny. They will complement it. They will understand that to love you is to walk alongside a vessel of divine fire. Until that day, beloved, wear your calling like the royal mantle it is. March forward with your head high and your heart anchored in the assurance that no good thing will He withhold from those who walk uprightly. Psalm 84 verse 11. Your purpose is your compass. Your mission is your melody. Follow it with all your might, for when you do, you will not only fulfill your destiny, but you will also find a love that was written in the stars long before you ever knew loneliness. Number 4, they experience frequent awakenings, ascending beyond attachment. Chosen one, your journey is not linear. It is layered, multidimensional, ever-evolving. While others may walk a steady path of predictable change, your life is marked by sudden awakenings, divine interruptions that shake you from one level of understanding to the next. You do not just grow gradually, you ascend. And every ascension leaves behind a version of you that can no longer survive in the spaces and relationships you once called home. There are moments in your life, quiet, sacred moments, when the veil lifts and heaven whispers truths too weighty for the world to carry. In those moments, your spiritual eyes open wider. You begin to see life differently, feel people differently, crave differently. You awaken not just intellectually, but spiritually, emotionally, prophetically. And when that happens, something within you shifts, and what once fit begins to feel foreign. 2 Corinthians 3 verse 18 declares, "And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory." You are not meant to remain the same. Glory to glory, that is the rhythm of your life. But with every shift in glory comes a shedding of old desires, of outdated beliefs, of relationships that cannot evolve with you. Let's speak the truth plainly. Not every person who loved the old you can handle the awakened you. Some were drawn to the version of you that played small, that stayed quiet, that fit into their comfort zones. But once you rise, once your discernment sharpens, once your voice gains prophetic clarity, once your soul begins to burn with holy conviction, those same people may feel threatened, confused, or even abandoned. They may say, "You've changed," and you have, because staying asleep was never an option for someone chosen by God. Pause here and be honest with yourself. How many times have you outgrown a connection that once felt divinely inspired? How many times has your soul moved faster than your circle? It is not pride. It is not rebellion. It is progression. You are ascending beyond the emotional gravity that holds others in place. This spiritual acceleration is not something you chose, it chose you. And with it comes a price. The higher you climb, the thinner the air, the fewer the companions. Relationships begin to break not because there is no love, but because there is no longer resonance. What once felt aligned begins to feel off-key. What once nurtured you now restricts you. You find yourself torn between loyalty to history and obedience to your future. But beloved, you must not shrink to preserve what God is trying to release. Just as the caterpillar cannot stay in the cocoon once it's been transformed, you cannot force yourself to fit into dynamics that no longer reflect your spiritual identity. If you try to stay where you've outgrown, you will suffocate under the weight of stagnation. Think of Abraham, called to leave his homeland, his kin, and everything familiar, not because it was bad, but because it was no longer aligned with where God was taking him. Chosen ones are called to constant motion, constant revelation, constant growth. And not everyone can or will grow with you. But do not grieve the ones who cannot follow. Do not chase after what God allowed to fall away. Some relationships are only meant for a chapter, not the entire book. And as your spirit expands, so too will your understanding of this sacred truth. Growth will cost you comfort, but it will give you clarity. So I ask you, chosen one, what relationships in your life have felt strained? Not because of conflict, but because of change. What parts of your old self are you still holding on to for the sake of keeping someone close? Let this be the moment you give yourself permission to evolve without guilt. Let this be the hour you embrace your awakening fully, even if it means walking a while in solitude. Because the right partner, the one divinely designed to meet you on the mountain, will not fear your awakening. They will have had their own. They will not ask you to descend just to keep the peace. They will rise with you, match your growth, and call forth your next dimension. Until then, rise, evolve, ascend. Your awakenings are holy, your solitude is sacred, and your journey is preparing you not only for greater purpose, but for a love that can handle your continual transformation. Number 5. They don't fit into social norms, the holy misfits. Chosen one, let's tell the truth. Many are too afraid to say, you were never meant to fit in. You were never created to follow the script written by culture, signed by tradition, and sealed by fear. There is something sacredly offbeat about your spirit, something that refuses to bow to societal timelines, to relationship expectations, to the pressure to conform for the sake of acceptance. You don't follow the world's rhythm because you were born with heaven's sound inside of you. And because of that, you walk differently, think differently, and most certainly love differently. Romans 12 verse 2 declares, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That scripture isn't just about thoughts. It's about patterns, relationships, cycles, expectations. And you, chosen one, were called to disrupt every one of them. While others run toward the picture-perfect romance, the white picket fence, the ideal timeline, the checklist of how love should look, you find yourself unmoved by surface. You crave something deeper, something eternal, something real. You don't want a partner just for Instagram. You don't want a ring just to silence the questions. You don't want companionship born from fear of being alone. You want covenant, purpose, alignment, and because of that, the world looks at you as if something is wrong. They say, "Why are you still single?" As if your singleness is a sickness. They whisper, "Maybe your standards are too high." Never realizing your standards aren't high, they're holy. You've been marked by God, and no one can convince you to water down your divine identity just to fit into a worldly mold. Take a moment and ask yourself, how many times have you questioned yourself simply because you didn't match what others expected of you? How many times have you dimmed your light, softened your truth, or silenced your spirit just to blend in? Let me tell you plainly, fitting in is the fast track to forgetting who you are. And the chosen cannot afford that kind of compromise. You are a holy misfit. You don't belong to the crowd. You belong to the call. The prophets in Scripture knew this life well. Jeremiah wept alone. Elijah stood against the prophets of Baal. John the Baptist wore camel's hair and shouted repentance in the wilderness. None of them looked the part. None of them fit the mold. But every one of them was chosen to shift atmospheres, to confront compromise, to prepare the way for something greater. And so are you. Relationships in today's culture often revolve around convenience, performance, and external compatibility. But you long for soul-level connection. You don't want someone who completes your image. You want someone who aligns with your assignment. And because that kind of person is rare, your path often feels lonely. But do not be discouraged. Your different is not a flaw. It is a prophetic distinction. Your refusal to conform is not rebellion. It is reverence. God has set you apart for something sacred, and He is not going to allow you to be entangled with someone who is bound by systems you were called to break. So while others chase what is popular, you wait for what is pure. While others follow the crowd, you follow the cloud. And yes, that might mean more lonely nights, more unanswered texts, more confused glances from friends and family. But hear me clearly. Your uniqueness is not disqualifying you from love. It is qualifying you for a love that is divinely tailored to your soul. You're not too much. You're just too rare to be rushed. Chosen one, I encourage you, embrace the holy misfit within you. Stop apologizing for your difference. You were never called to walk the broad road of public approval. You were called to walk the narrow path of divine destiny. And trust me, when the right person appears, when the one who is also shaped outside the system crosses your path, they will not be confused by your difference. They will recognize it as the very reason they were drawn to you. Until then, keep walking boldly, keep standing firmly, and never forget, misfits in the world are often the perfect fit in the kingdom. Number 6. Their vibration rejects the wrong people. Divine rejection is divine protection. Chosen one, what if I told you that the rejection you faced was never personal, it was spiritual? What if I told you that the people who walked away, the connections that dissolved without warning, the relationships that seemed perfect until they weren't, were all part of a divine filtration system orchestrated by heaven itself? Because when you carry a holy frequency, when your soul vibrates at the rhythm of the Spirit, those who are not aligned with that vibration will not be able to stay. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You see, every soul emits a frequency. It's not always audible, but it's always felt. And the chosen ones, those set apart by God, resonate at a higher frequency because of what they carry. You have been refined by fire, shaped by suffering, stretched by purpose. You've walked through spiritual deserts most cannot imagine. And all of that has elevated your energy. Your vibration is pure. It is weighty. It is heaven-tuned. That's why people feel something around you, even when you say nothing. But here is the hard truth. Not everyone can handle that kind of energy. Some are not ready for the level of truth you walk in. Some are not willing to rise to the vibration you carry. And instead of leaning in, they retreat. Instead of drawing closer, they detach. Instead of stepping into transformation, they slip back into comfort. And you weary soul, you grieve it. You ask yourself, why does love keep slipping away? Why can't I seem to hold on to what others take for granted? But let me speak this truth into your spirit with clarity and compassion. What walked away was not meant to remain, because your vibration rejected what would have corrupted your purpose. Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And sometimes, guarding your heart doesn't look like building walls. It looks like heaven closing doors you didn't even know would hurt you later. The breakups, the ghosting, the silent goodbyes, those were not losses. They were divine interventions. Protection doesn't always look like a warning. Sometimes it looks like absence. Sometimes God's loudest no is a quiet departure. Pause for a moment and reflect. How many times did someone leave your life only for you to discover later that their presence would have derailed your growth? How many tears did you cry over people who were never equipped to walk with you into your next level? Chosen one, your anointing is not cheap. It is heaven-born, and heaven will not allow it to be contaminated by relationships built on insecurity, manipulation, or spiritual laziness. So don't curse the rejection. Bless it, because your high frequency is not just attracting the right, it's repelling the wrong. And that is mercy in disguise. Think of a temple. Not just anyone can enter the Holy of Holies. There's a purification process, preparation. In the same way, those who are called to be in your life must undergo their own spiritual refinement. Because intimacy with you isn't casual, it's covenant. Proximity to you isn't light, it's sacred. And God is not going to allow just anyone to handle your heart when He's the one who wrote its design. This is why, even when it feels lonely, even when your soul aches for companionship, you must trust the divine vibration within you. For that vibration is not just keeping you holy, it's keeping you hidden until the right one arrives. So I ask you, what relationships have recently fallen away from your life without closure? What people seemed so right until suddenly they weren't? Could it be, beloved, that your frequency simply rejected what your spirit could not receive? You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are protected. And when the one arrives, the one whose spirit vibrates at the same divine frequency, you won't have to shrink, explain, or adjust. They will simply resonate. Until then, rest in the rejection, because it was really redirection. It was heaven guarding what hell was hoping to access. Number 7. They value depth over surface connections, the pearl seekers. Chosen one, you were never created to swim in shallow waters. Your soul was designed for the deep, for the sacred places where few dare to go. This is why surface-level conversations leave you feeling empty. This is why casual dating and performative relationships feel like noise in your spirit. You don't crave attention, you crave intention. You are a pearl seeker in a world obsessed with pebbles. Jesus said in Matthew 13 verses 45 to 46, "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it." This is you. You are not interested in cheap love that comes without cost, without substance, without soul. You are willing to wait, to walk alone, to let go of temporary pleasures, all for a connection that is holy, whole, and heaven-sent. This makes relationships complicated, because while many are content with connections built on aesthetics, popularity, and momentary validation, you are searching for something eternal. Something that doesn't just excite your emotions, but awakens your purpose. Something that doesn't just make you feel seen, but makes your spirit rise. But hear this clearly, that longing for depth is not a flaw. It is your prophetic blueprint. It's why small talk feels like suffocation. It's why pretending drains you. It's why fake smiles and empty flattery leave your soul aching. You don't want someone to flirt with your surface. You want someone who can pray with your pain, weep with your warfare, dance with your destiny. And yes, that kind of love is rare. Rare, not impossible. Pause for a moment and reflect. How many relationships have crumbled not because of conflict, but because the connection could not match your capacity? How many times have you tried to explain your depth, only to be met with blank stares and shallow understanding? That ache you feel is real, but it's not hopeless, it's holy. It's evidence that your spirit will not allow you to settle for anything less than what God has destined. In a world that often trades love for lust, intimacy for image, and connection for convenience, you stand apart. And yes, that may make you feel isolated. It may make you question whether you're asking for too much. But the truth is, you're not asking for too much. You're asking for what's true. And anything less than that would starve the beauty within you. Let me speak this over you prophetically. God is not preparing you for someone who just loves your light. He is preparing you for someone who understands your shadows. Someone who doesn't just admire your strength but respects the cost of it. Someone who doesn't fear your fire but fuels it. This is not fantasy, it is faithful promise. Your depth will not go unnoticed forever. It may take longer to find. It may come after many disappointments, but it will come. And when it does, it will feel like peace, not performance. It will feel like home, not hesitation. And you will know you waited not in vain, but in victory. So don't shrink. Don't lower your expectations to accommodate someone else's shallow understanding of love. Keep diving deep. Keep nurturing your inner well. For you are not just seeking a partner, you are calling forth a divine counterpart. One who can match your depth, mirror your truth, and carry the weight of purpose with you. And until that one arrives, cherish your depth. It is the mark of your anointing. It is the fingerprint of your Creator. And it is proof that the love you seek will be nothing less than extraordinary. Number 8. The universe is preparing someone special. The sacred waiting room. Chosen one, your waiting is not wasted. It is sacred. It is strategic. It is divinely ordained. You have not been placed in a holding pattern because God forgot you, but because heaven is preparing a love story that will not resemble the patterns of this world. It will resemble the fingerprints of the divine. The ache in your soul, the empty spaces in your heart, the longing that lingers even after prayer. It's not a punishment. It's a prophecy, a sign that something greater is being written behind the veil of time. And just as you have been refined through fire, through solitude, through the painful pruning of past relationships, so too is the one you are destined for being shaped, molded, and purified. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. There is a time for war, a time for peace, a time for mourning, and a time for dancing. And yes, there is a time for meeting, the sacred union, the divine encounter, the collision of two souls who have been walking parallel paths of pain, growth, obedience, and becoming, finally meeting in God's perfect timing. But until that appointed hour comes, you are in what I call the sacred waiting room. It's the place where God doesn't just prepare the blessing. He prepares you to hold the blessing well. This waiting is not passive, it is active trust. Every heartbreak you've survived, every closed door you didn't understand, every lonely night you cried out for companionship, none of it has gone unnoticed by God. He saw every tear. He heard every whispered, "Why?" And he answered not with an explanation, but with a plan. The one being prepared for you is not being delayed, they are being developed. Just as you are being transformed from glory to glory, they too are being called higher. They are learning how to pray, how to lead, how to walk in purpose, how to love with God's kind of love. Not the fleeting, self-serving kind, but the sacrificial, destiny-driven kind. Because your love story isn't just about romance. It's about revelation. It's about building something eternal together. So I ask you to reflect. What if the pain you're enduring now is shaping the foundation of your future covenant? What if every no you faced was a setup for the one yes that will shift your entire world? Could it be that what feels like delay is actually divine choreography? There is a moment coming, a collision of purpose and timing, where your paths will cross. And when it does, there will be no striving, no pretending, no question. Your souls will recognize each other. You'll look into their eyes and feel like you've known them in another lifetime. Because in truth, your spirits have been preparing for this meeting across dimensions of faith, trial, and obedience. Until then, wait well. Wait with expectation, not desperation. Wait with praise on your lips, not bitterness in your heart. Wait like Ruth in the field, faithful, focused, favored, until Boaz steps into the scene. Wait like Joseph in the prison, undervalued but still chosen, until the doors of destiny open wide. Wait like Jesus in the wilderness, resisting shortcuts, because you know what God has for you is worth every moment of preparation. You have not been forgotten, beloved. You have been reserved, hidden not to be discarded, but to be revealed at the appointed time. And when the one arrives, when the waiting room turns into the wedding season, when divine alignment replaces delay, you will understand why it had to take time. Why the pain had to shape you, why the silence had to strengthen you, why the loneliness had to lead you into the arms of God before it ever led you into the arms of another. This is not a delay. This is the womb of something holy. And when it births, it will not just be love, it will be legacy. Beloved, if you've heard nothing else today, hear this. Your waiting is not empty. It is holy. It is not a pause in your life story. It is the plot twist that sets the stage for God's greatest reveal. The world may tell you that you are behind, that something is wrong with you because you walk alone, that your standards are too high, that your intensity is too much, that your discernment is too sharp. But heaven tells a different story. Heaven calls your waiting sacred, because the chosen are never rushed. The chosen are never average. The chosen are never handed what is holy in an unprepared state. You are not just waiting for love, you are being shaped for divine union. A union that doesn't just satisfy your heart, but honors your calling. A union that doesn't just look good, but carries weight in the spirit. A union that was written in the blueprints of heaven before time even began. Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles." Let that truth echo in your soul. You are not wilting in this waiting, you are soaring. You are not losing value, you are gaining vision. You are not being delayed, you are being developed. Let the world chase after instant gratification. Let others compromise their worth for momentary attention. But you will wait on God, because you know what He gives is always worth the wait. You know that when your appointed one arrives, it won't be confusing. It will be confirming. It won't drain you, it will ignite you. It won't make you question your worth, it will honor it. The one God is preparing for you will not ask you to dim your light. They will ask to build with it. So lift your head, chosen one. Dry your tears. Shake off the shame of solitude. What the world calls loneliness, heaven calls consecration. What they call delay, God calls design. And in this moment, I dare you to trust again. Trust the process. Trust the pruning. Trust the protection. Trust that even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is being rearranged behind the scenes for your good. If this word has pierced your spirit, if you feel this truth thundering in your bones, then make a declaration today. Type in the comments, "I'm not behind. I'm being prepared." Let it be a prophetic act. Let it be your agreement with heaven. Let it remind every voice of fear, every spirit of doubt, every lie that ever said you'd be alone forever, that your story is not over. It's just beginning. And before you go, pause one last time. Not just to hear these words, but to believe them. You are not forgotten. You are not too much. You are not unloved. You are not too late. You are not invisible to the one who created you. You are becoming what you were always meant to be. So that when love finds you, it will not shake your identity. It will solidify your destiny. The sacred waiting is beautiful because it prepares you for a love that is not counterfeit, but covenant. And that, dear chosen one, is worth everything. If this message stirred your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another soul who needs to be reminded that their waiting is not wasted. Type, "I trust God's timing," in the comments as a sign of your surrender. Subscribe if you haven't already, and help us continue building a space where chosen ones can be seen, strengthened, and spiritually fed. Your story matters here, and your miracle is closer than you think.